You know when someone tells you something that you never thought about, but then you can't stop thinking about it because they pointed it out? Like if you can actually tickle the roof of your mouth with your own tongue? Well, now thanks to Jesus Lopez's game demo of the Super Mario show, I can't stop thinking about how it's been over 30 years and we still haven't seen Mario venture through a pasta kingdom. How is that possible? The man's Italian.
With the Mario Brothers and plumbing's a game. We're not like the others who get all the fame. If your sink is in trouble, you can call us on the double. We're faster than the others, you'll be hooked on the brothers.
Hey, Genius. Now we have quite a few news stories to talk about, but let's start this off with October's free game offerings. And of course, by free, I mean a free perk to a subscription service you may have signed up for and pay for, as some of you like to point out. Unless I'm talking about the Epic Games Store. Then it's actually free. More free than Ash's Butterfree. Now, if you have Xbox games with gold, you can pick up Tembo the Badass Elephant throughout October and Disney's Bolt in the first half of the month. After October 15th, you can get the ridiculously hard Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge and RGT85's Crack Friday the 13th. Over on PlayStation Plus, there's of course the baseball game dubbed The Show 19 and The Last of Us. If you have Amazon Prime or Twitch Prime, you can grab yourself Stranger Things 3 The Game, that Telltale game with The Walking Dead Michonne, Adam Wolf, a supernatural detective game with puzzles, the stealth action game Serial Cleaner, and finally Deadlight Director's Cut, which is like a survival horror 2D scroller, which really wishes it had the success of Inside, but simply doesn't. As for the Epic Games Store, you can now get Minute, a weird artsy game that you apparently play 60 seconds at a time. I don't know. Later this month, you'll be able to grab Surviving Mars, which is like SimCity, but on Mars. Okay, it has a lot more depth than SimCity, but like every game does. Lastly, if you're a member of Nintendo Switch Online, keep on playing those SNES games because you're not getting any more freebies for a while. Actually, my mistake. There is one new thing for Switch Online users this week, who also have Mario Maker 2, and that's the ability to play online with your friends. Finally, after months of waiting, you can play against your friends in some fun or just downright teeth-grinding levels. So go and enjoy yourselves. In not so good Mario news, the Mario & Luigi series' future is now unknown as the studio behind the series, Alpha Dream, has filed for bankruptcy after low sales and mounting debt stacking against them. The developer was mostly known for the Mario & Luigi series over the last 2 decades, but it's important not to forget about the unsung story of Tomato Adventure, a tale about an innocent boy who hates tomatoes on a quest to save his girlfriend throughout the Ketchup Kingdom. It's also essentially the same game as Mario & Luigi with a different skin. Now, another piece of news affecting the Nintendo sphere is the return of everyone's favorite floating head, and I'm not talking about Andros, but rather Dr. Kawashima with the return of Brain Age. After 7 years since its last entry, Nintendo had enough with us being dumb. We've all grown fatter and dumber since the Wii days, so they're now bringing back their classic mental and physical exercise games. The new Brain Age game has only been announced for Japan so far, and will be releasing December 27th. If this is anything like Super Mario Bros. 2, they probably have to dumb down the game before offering it to the Western audience. And you know, how was that kind of treatment not considered discrimination in the 90s? You know, thinking back about it, oh, we gotta dumb it down for the Western audience? Like, what? Over in the PlayStation camp, there were quite a few shakeups. First up, PlayStation's Sean Layden said, "I had enough of this cross-button bullshit, I'm out," and stormed out of the office. Some say you could even hear him scream, "It's an X button," all the way to his car in the parking lot. While that last part is just speculation, Sean has left PlayStation after 32 years working for the studios for unknown reasons. Some reports are suggesting there's a bit of a restructuring and potential power struggle happening at Sony, so maybe not all is well in the house of Sony these days. Hopefully all will be well when it's time for the PlayStation 5's launch. In better news, after years of coming up with terrible excuses, PlayStation has finally moved PlayStation 4's crossplay feature out of beta. Yay! I don't know if you remember, but they used to say things like crossplay was a bad idea because it would expose children to external influences they could not manage. Because the gaming communities are only toxic on other platforms, right? Get your filthy Xbox or Nintendo speak out of my voice chat, you peasant of peasants. I think we can all agree if there's one thing that Fortnite did well for this industry is put pressure on the corporations to support crossplay on all platforms so that everyone can game however they like while still playing with all their friends. And that's not all the backpedaling PlayStation did, as they also slashed the price of PS Now in half, effectively competing toe-to-toe in price against Microsoft's Game Pass. Now, if they could only cut their streaming lag in half, then we'd have a service worth talking about. The idea behind PS Now is to let players play just about any game from the PlayStation 2 library up to the PlayStation 4, whether on a PS4 or even a PC, which is very cool. Now the problem is you can only stream the game, and the streaming quality isn't so hot with immense lag issues. So on the flip side, you have Game Pass that lets you download the game, so you're playing everything locally, which is a far better solution. Retro fans rejoice as more information has been revealed on the upcoming Disney classic games, which includes Aladdin and Lion King. First of all, the debate between which Aladdin game was better, the SNES or the Genesis version, has finally been decided, as the collection will only include the Genesis version, because who wants to just throw apples and not have a sword? Like, come on. The team behind the game has also added in a new camera system, new level sections, tweaks to bosses, and general gameplay. The game will be coming out later this month on October 29th and will sell on all platforms for $30. In a surprise announcement, but to no one's actual surprise, Rockstar Games has announced their hit title, Red Dead Redemption 2, will be coming to PC on November 5th. You can pre-order it through their conveniently recently launched Rockstar Games launcher, which, by the way, if you haven't downloaded it yet, you can also grab a free copy of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas before October 8th. As an extra incentive, if you pre-order Red Dead Redemption 2 between October 9th and 22nd, you can pick up 2 free Rockstar games, which are guaranteed to be no less than 7 years old. What a steal. A new trailer for Avengers was revealed at New York Comic Con, showcasing the new character Kamala Khan, aka Ms. Marvel. The trailer showed us a bit of her movement and abilities, but mostly focused on the narrative of some angsty Bruce Banner and bearded Tony Stark. Also, I'd like to point out how Bruce Banner drives around with a Hulk bobblehead. That's kind of cute. Other recent or imminent game launches include Ghostbusters Remastered, which is just a prettier version of the 2009 game with the same mechanics, story, and gameplay as you would have found then. Still worth a look if you've never had the chance to play it before. There's also a new Yooka-Laylee game coming out next week, which is currently sitting at an 84 on Metacritic, a significant step up from its 3D debut title. The sequel appears to play very much like a Donkey Kong Country game, which will either excite you at the prospect of another Donkey Kong Country-like game, or disappoint you that it's just a Donkey Kong Country clone. Because as we know, clones rarely outperform the originals. Finally, the 24-hour Pokemon broadcast of a forest just took place, and while there wasn't anything as inappropriate as what I suggested last week happening, there wasn't much else either. At the time of this show's writing, the stream was about halfway through, and in that time there were 7 things that happened. 7 very minor little things, like Pikachu showing up for 5 seconds. The stream was so boring to watch that many just started creating memes of what was popping up on the stream instead. The broadcast started with many large YouTube channels streaming the event, such as GameXplain, which soon turned into a stream of people watching just a guy stare at essentially nothing. Fascinating. Beautiful. God, this is boring. Lucky for you, I've compiled all the forest sightings so you don't have to watch the whole thing. Here you go.
Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
And that's it for this week. I'll see you next week on HeyJ News. Until next time, keep it classy. Who's ready for comments in the credits? I am. Nintendo First says you tell us to keep it classy and you throw in that disturbing piece with Snorlax and Ditto. Bidoof was scarred to say the least. Googly eyes, keep it coming. I don't know if it's googly eyes, maybe shady eyes. Yeah, I was towing the line there, but that, you know, Pokemon have to reproduce somehow. So I'm sorry I had to reveal the truth to all of you so bluntly last week. Doug says, thanks, Jason, for all your hard work. I hope your new path in life is exactly what you've been looking for. It's something, that's for sure. It's a positive step forward, I'll just say that. Elizabeth says, gotta love the Pillsbury Doughboy. Who doesn't love the Pillsbury Doughboy and his cheeky little Tim Drake says, more people need to like this video because it's fantastic and amazing. Thank you, Tim, and I agree with you. Be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, share it with your friends, slap it in your friend's face, and just go, hey, genius! The Captain says, by far one of the best gaming news show on the internet. Thank you, Captain, for watching. I hope I'll see you next week and every week on Hey Genius. Smarto just says, the ending Pokemon scene has just legit destroyed the way I thought of Ditto. Why did you have to put it in? I'm very disappointed. It's nature, man. I'm sorry. Ethan R says, the goose is on the hunk and loose. Watch out. Lee Swift says, ha ha ha, poke the goose possibly. Honestly, I don't remember what joke I made about a goose or about poking it. But don't poke a goose. It'll chase you and it'll hurt. That's it for comments in the credits. I'll see you guys next week.